Good day, everyone. I am here po to report on the pertinent provisions of the revised penal code under the criminal liabilities. By the way, before I will start my presentation, I am engineer Arjon S. Acordon. I am a registered aeronautical engineer and currently affiliated at Holy Angel University as an instructor. Okay po, so let's start for the topic of the pertinent provisions of the revised penal code. But for the introduction, the revised penal code of the Philippines is the main criminal code governing offenses and penalties in the country. So ito po yung sinusundan natin kung merong mga nagawa yung mga may mga krimen na nangyari, may mga ginawang hindi maganda, no? Dito sila nagbe-base para dun sa mga offenses and penalties. Then it was enacted in 1930 during the American colonial period and has undergone amendments and revisions since then. The code covers a wide range of criminal offenses such as crimes against persons. Example po ng mga crimes against person is yung murder, homicide, and physical injuries. Then crime against property naman po such as theft, robbery, and estafa, no? Pwede rin pong ma-consider natin dito yung arson na tinatawag or yung panununog ng isang property. Then, crimes against chastity, such as rapes and acts of the lasciviousness, no? And crimes against public order, such as rebellion, sedition, and illegal possession of firearms. Okay, no? So, sa revised penal code, lahat po ng mga nabanggit natin, the crimes against person, property, and etc., doon po natin makikita yung mga penalties and offenses na pwedeng ibigay sa isang tao kapag meron po siyang nilabag under the revised. Okay? The code establishes the principle of criminal liability, including the element of a crime, criminal intent, and mitigating and aggravating circumstances. It sets out the penalties for different offenses, ranging from fines and imprisonment to death penalty. Though yung death penalty po kasi natin, kung matatandaan po natin, is hindi na po gumagana, hindi po siya effective as of now. Inalis po yung death penalty natin or nasuspend po yung death penalty po natin dito sa Pilipinas since 2006. Okay, no? Ang pagkakatanda ko po, ang pinaka last na nabitay is si Leo Echegaray, yung kung matatandaan niyo po na ito po yung sikat na nabitay no, ginawan pa po siya ng movie. Okay? Overall, the revised penal code serves as the foundation of the Philippine criminal justice system, providing a framework for defining criminal acts and administering justice in the country. Okay, for the importance of understanding criminal liabilities, first, under the legal compliance, knowledge of criminal liabilities helps individuals and organizations adhere to the law, avoiding actions that could result in criminal prosecutions and penalties. Then for the second one, importance po is for the protection of rights. Siyempre kaya nga po, kung matatandaan nyo, kapag nanonood tayo ng mga documentary or ng mga movies na kapag may ina-arrest sila, binabasahan po sila ng karapatan nila bago sila arestuhin. Okay? Familiarity with criminal liabilities enables individuals to assert their rights if accused of a crime, ensuring fair treatment and due process throughout legal proceedings. Meron po silang binabasa, nakalimutan ko lang po yung Miranda rights po yata yung tawag doon. Yung, binabasa nila na kailangan yung lahat ng sasabihin mo is magiging against sa'yo kapag ka nagsalita ka. So, and entitled ka ng due process. And pwede kang kumuha ng sarili mong attorney. Yun po yung mga usually binabasa nila kapag ka nakakanood po tayo ng mga movies or ng mga documentaries na may kinalaman kapag ka ina-arresto yung isang criminal or accused of a crime. Okay? Then, promotion of justice. Understanding criminal liabilities facilitates the administration of justice by holding wrongdoers accountable for their actions. Is promote societal order and safety by deterring unlawful behavior. So, pinaka-importante po ito, no? Kaya po natin ginagawa yon is para ma-account or mahuli po natin yung mga gumagawa or mga lumalabag sa batas. Then para maparusahan din po sila or maprotektahan yung society dun sa mga ginagawa nila. Then for the legal representation, lawyers and legal professionals rely on an understanding of criminal liabilities to provide effective representation to clients, ensuring their rights are safeguarded during legal proceedings. Okay? And then for the policy development, policymakers utilize knowledge of criminal liabilities to develop laws and policies aimed at preventing crime and enhancing public safety and fostering a just society. Dito sa policy development po, tinitingnan po ng mga policy makers natin kung ano pa yung mga kulang or ano pa yung mga kailangan i-amend. No? Ano pa po yung mga pwede pa ng panibagong law or mga rules and regulation na pwede pa nating magawa. Okay? Then for the overview of the revised penal code, okay, for the scope po, no, ito po yung scope ng revised penal code. The revised penal code covers a wide range. Tandaan po, no, malaki po yung range or yung sakop po na scope ni revised penal code of criminal offenses, including crimes against persons, kamukha po sinabi natin, no? Crimes against persons, crimes against property, crimes against chastity, and crimes against public order. So under po yun lahat sa revised penal code. Okay? Then, for the principles of criminal liability, the code establishes the principles of criminal liability, defining elements such as criminal intent, the actus reus or yung tinatawag po nating the wrongful act, and mens rea or yung tinatawag naman po nating the guilty mind. Tandaan po natin, no? Yung criminal liability. The criminal liability defining elements such as criminal intent, tatlo po yan, no? Criminal intent, actus reus, and mens rea. It also outlines mitigating and aggravating circumstances that may affect the severity of the penalties. And for the penalties po, no? The revised penal code sets out the penalties for various offenses, including fines, imprisonment, and in some cases, the death penalty. Okay po din sa revised penal code, syempre po, hindi naman po pwedeng walang penalties yan. Na yung penalties po na involved dito, pwede po siya yung magbayad po siya ng danyos or yung fines na tinatawag, pwede siyang makulong, and in some cases, nung hindi pa po na suspend yung death penalty din sa Pilipinas, pwede po siyang humantong din sa death penalty. Iba-iba po kasi yung mode doon sa death penalty. No? Pwede po siyang firing squad, pwede siya ng lethal injection, pwede siya ng death by hanging, and etc. Okay po. Then for the legal procedures, the code provides guidelines for legal procedures related to criminal offenses such as arrest, investigation, trial, and sentencing. It ensures that individuals accused of crimes are afforded due process and fair treatment under the law. Yung po yung pinaka-importante. No? Kahit na sinasabi po natin na kriminal yung tao, ang may karapatan po rin po siya para makadaan sa isang due process and fair treatment of the law. Kahit ano pong mangyari, yun yung po yung, mayroon pa rin pong karapatan yung isang kriminal. Kaya kung mapapansin niyo po, no, pati po sa mga mga pag-aresto, no, may mga representative po yung Commission on Human Rights, no, kung makikita niyo po na kapag ina-aresto, tinitingnan po nila kung tama or nasusunod pa po yung karapatan ng isang akusado. Okay po. Then reform and amendments. Over the years, the revised penal code has undergone reforms and amendments to address evolving societal norms and legal principles. These changes may include the addition of new offenses, adjustment to penalties, or revision to legal procedures. Kasi po hindi naman po throughout the time nakastock lang yung batas po natin. No? Kailangan prone din po or pwede rin po siyang i-amend kasi nagbabago din po yung panahon and nagbabago din yung agos ng buhay. So kailangan po pwede po siyang palitan or pwede po siyang i-amend. May mga kailangan bawasan or may mga kailangan idagdag po. Okay? Then foundation of the criminal justice system. The revised penal code serves as the foundation of the Philippine criminal justice system, providing a framework for defining criminal acts, determining liability, and administering justice. Overall, the revised penal code plays a vital role in maintaining law and order in the Philippines, ensuring that criminal offenses and appropriately defined and punish within a framework of the fairness and justice. Okay po, no? So, kung pag-uusapan na criminal justice system, no? Agad na papasok po dapat dito is yung tinatawag po nating revised penal code, yung dinidiscuss po ngayon, no? Pagka narinig yung criminal justice system, automatic tingin po kayo dun sa revised penal code po natin. Okay, no? Sa revised penal code, ulitin ko lang po, no? Nandun po lahat yung mga criminal acts, no? Yung mga liabilities, pati po yung penalties, no? Na involved dun sa mga nagawang kaso or na magawang hindi magandang gawain, no? Nandun po lahat sa revised penal code. Okay, no? Then next for the general principle of criminal liability. Okay, ito po yung tinatawag nating actus reus and mens rea. Kanina po na-define po natin yon, no? Actus reus, no, also known as the guilty act in Latin term, or the physical act of committing a crime. For example po, yung an example of a physical act of committing crime is yung mga nananaksak po, no, yung mga sinasaksak, yung mga ng rape, no, physical crime pa rin po yun, no. For some to be held criminal liable, okay, there must be an intentional or voluntary act or omission that violates the law. Mere intentions or thoughts without corresponding actions typically do not constitute criminal liability. Okay po, so kailangan meron siyang intentional or binabalak po niya talagang gawin or voluntary niyang ginagawa. Pero kapag ito po, no, may intentions or thoughts lang po yung pinag-uusapan without corresponding actions, no, hindi po natin siya mako-consider as a physical act of committing crime. Inuulit ko po, no, kailangan intentional or voluntary act po yung nangyayari. Hindi po pwede yung mere intentions lang or thoughts na naiisip lang, no. Hindi po siya mako-considered as a criminal liability. Then, for the mens rea naman po, no, ano naman po pinagkaiba niya kay actus reus and mens rea? Kay actus reus po, physical act of committing a crime. Then for mens rea naman po, mens rea is also known as the guilty mind. That po, no? Guilty mind. Kung kay actus reus physical po, dito kay mens rea is guilty mind. Mens rea refers to the mental state or intention behind the criminal act. Okay po. It involves the awareness of wrongdoing or criminal intent. In many cases, criminal liability requires both the actus reus and mens rea to be present. Okay po, no? Tandaan, in many cases po na nakalagay, no? Criminal liability requires, kinakailangan na present si actus reus or yung voluntary or tinatawag po nating intentional na ginagawa niya, then kailangan din po siyang merong guilty mind or yung mental state of or intention behind the criminal act. So usually naman po ganun nangyayari, no? Kung hindi niya naisip, usually yung mga krimen na nangyayari, no? Kung hindi niya naisip, hindi niya gagawin. Ganun po yung mangyayari. So kung naisip niya yon, automatic gagawin niya. Okay, no? Pero kung merely po na thought lang yun, tapos wala po siyang physical act of committing a crime, hindi po natin siya masasabi as a criminal liability. Then concurrence of actus reus and mens rea. The concurrence of actus reus and mens rea means that both elements must be present at the same time for an individual to be held criminal liable. Malinaw po tayo dito. Dapat po present yung dalawa para masabi natin yung tao is criminal liable. Kapag hindi present yung isa, for example, mens rea lang po yung present sa tao, di po natin siya pwedeng masabi na criminal liable siya kapag wala yung isa sa mga to. In other words, if someone commits a prohibited act, o yung actus reus na tinatawag po natin, but lacks the requisite mental state or yung mens rea, they generally cannot be held criminally responsible. For example na lang po, meron po tayong example dito, accidentally causing harm without intending to do so would lack the necessary mens rea for criminal offenses. For example na lang po dito yung mga banggaan sa daan, no? Yung mga bus at saka yung mga bus at saka yung mga motor, no? Pagka nagkakaroon po ng aksidente, usually po involved dito yung mga truck at saka yung mga bases po natin, no? Pagka nagkakaroon ng aksidente, hindi naman po ginusto, yung iba, no, hindi naman po ginusto ng mga driver, for example, nawalan po siya ng brake, no? Hindi naman po ginusto nung driver, then nakapatay siya, nakasagasa po siya. That means, actus reus lang po yung present during that time. Kasi nakapatay po siya ng tao or yung voluntary, no? Voluntary or intentional act. Kasi nakapatay siya ng tao. Pero yung mens rea is hindi naman po niya ginusto kasi nawalan siya ng preno or wala siyang balak makasagasa ng isang tao. So hindi po natin masasabi na criminal liable yung tao kapag wala po yung actus reus and mens rea or wala po yung isa sa mga sinabi ko na yun. Okay po? Then conversely, if someone has intent to commit a crime but does not engage in the corresponding physical act, they also cannot be held criminal liable. Malinaw po tayo dito. Baka lagi nyo po tatandaan, no? Kapag ka merong intent to commit a crime or yung mens rea, guilty mind po, no? But does not engage or wala naman siyang ginawa sa'yo. Okay, no? Yung actus reus, wala naman siya physically na ginawa sa'yo. Hindi pa rin po natin siya masasabi na criminally liable. Mere thoughts or intentions without accompanying actions typically do not constitute criminal conduct. Okay, the principle of concurrence ensures that criminal liability is based on combination of both the physical act and the culpable mental state, reflecting the fundamental idea that punishment should be reserved for individuals who not only commit wrongful acts but also possess the requisite intent or awareness of their action. Okay po, then categories of crime naman po tayo, no? For the categories of crime, these offenses, ito po, no? First category po pala natin is yung crime against person. Okay po? Crimes against person, these offenses involves harm or violence directed at individuals. Ito po yung mga example ng crimes against person. Ma'am and sirs, the first one is yung murder. Then second is homicide, physical injuries, rape, acts of lasciviousness, parricide, infanticide, and violence against women and children under the Republic Act 9262. Makikita niyo naman po dito yung mga laws, no? For example, yung murder, makikita po natin siya sa Article 248 of the Revised Penal Code. Then for the homicide, then makikita naman po natin siya on the Article 249 of the Revised Penal Code. Ang hindi lang po natin makikita dito is yung violence against women and children. Magkaiba po sila ng batas. Okay po? Then, crimes against property naman po tayo. Ito yung these offenses involve the unlawful taking, destruction, or damage of properties. For example po, yung theft, pagnanakaw, robbery, estafa, arson, yung panununog, no? Sadyang panununog ng isang property, malicious mischief, and falsifications of documents. For example, yung mga example of falsification of documents po is yung mga namimeke ng mga dokumento. For example, sa field po natin, no? Engineer ang tawag sa kanya or engineer siya sa mga ibang tao pero yung palang dokumento niya, yung mga pinapakita niya is peke pala. Yun po yung isa sa mga example of falsification of documents. Kaya dapat po maingat tayo dito, no? Kasi baka kapag hindi natin inayos, dapat laging nakasecure yung mga documents po natin kasi pwede po nilang kopyahin yung mga yan, no? Kailangan nakasecure yung mga documents natin para hindi po magamit ng ibang tao para sa mga masasamang gawain. Then crimes against chastity. These offenses involve violation of sexual morality or decency. For example na lang po is yung rape. Then act of lasciviousness, adultery, concubinage, seduction, and corruption of minors. Okay po. Then crimes against public order. These offenses involve disturbances to public peace, order, and security or nakakapekto po siya sa mga kapwa natin Pilipino. For example, yung rebellion, sedition, illegal possession of firearms, alarm scandal, and illegal gambling. So kung yung illegal gambling po is mako-consider po natin siya as crimes against public order. Then crimes against public interest naman po, these offenses involves actions, tandaan po, actions that undermine public welfare or regulatory interest. Ito po yung mga example, no? Corruption of public officials, anti-graft and corrupt practices, estafa, and anti-fencing law. Familiar po kayo panigurato dun sa first two, no? Corruption of public officials and anti-graft and corrupt practices, no? Ito po yung mga sinampada during that time, kung naalala ko kay President Joseph Estrada. Okay po. Then crimes against public interest, continuation naman po ito, no? Crimes against honor naman po. These offenses involve violation of personal reputations or dignity. For example, libel, slander, grave threats. Kung kapag paninirang puri, yun po yung tinatawag dito in Tagalog, no? Paninirang puri, ito po yung mga pwede nating isampang kaso sa kanila. Libel, slander, and grave threats. For example, pinagtangkaan po yung buhay nyo or binabantaan kayo, pwede po nating kasuhan ng grave threats. Okay? Then elements of crime naman po tayo. Dito naman tayo sa elements of crime. For the crimes against public interest, act or omission, this element refers to the physical action or act of failure or omission, no? Or failure to act. Correction lang po. These elements refers to the physical act. Yung action niya mismo or failure to act. When they say failure to act, it is also known as the omission that constitutes the prohibited behavior. Whether an act or omission is considered criminal depends on the specific requirements of the law. Then for the intent or criminal negligence, intent also known as the mens rea, no? Or yung guilty mind, refers to the mental state or intention behind the act. It involves the awareness of wrongdoing of criminal intent. Criminal negligence, on the other hand, involves a conscious disregard for safety or rights of others. For example po, no, alam nyo naman na makaka-apekto yun or maapektuhan yung safety ng mga ibang tao or yung mga karapatan nila, pero tinuloy nyo pa rin. No? Yun po yung tinatawag nating criminal negligence. Depending on the criminal offense, criminal liability may require either intentional conduct, recklessness, or negligence. Okay po. Then unlawful conduct. This element pertains to the violation of a specific legal provision or prohibition. The act of omission must be contrary to law for it to constitute to a crime. The unlawfulness of conduct is determined by statutory law, common law, or regulatory provisions. Okay? For the causation naman po, causation establishes a connection between the defendant, conduct, and the resulting harm or prohibited outcome. It requires demonstrating that the defendant's action were the direct cause of the harm or offense. Causation can be both factual or yung actual cause po na tinatawag, then legal or yung proximate cause. Kailangan po, yung sa causation dapat present po yung both factual and legal. Okay? Meaning that the defendant's conduct not only brought about the harm but also did so in a way that was reasonably foreseeable. Then modes of participation in crime. Okay, for the modes of participation in a crime po, okay, ito po yung mga different modes of participation in a crime. The first one is yung principal by direct participation. Ano naman pong ibig sabihin ng principal by direct participation? This refers to a person who personally commits the criminal act or directly participate in its commission. For example po, yung mga, let's just say yung mga nagsasalvage na tao, no? Yung mga gumagawa nun is direct participation kasi po ginagawa nila yung pagpatay dun sa tao. Then ginagawa din po nila, sometimes no, sila din po yung nagtatapon or inaalis or tinatago yung mga patay na tao. They are primary offender responsible for the unlawful act. The revised penal code recognizes them as the principal offender. Okay po, kapag meron kang direct participation sa isang krimen, no? Medikang sa under the revised penal code, tatawagin ka as the principal offender. Then the principal by indirect participation. Ano naman po itong principal by indirect participation? Also known as the accomplice or co-principal. This mode of participation involves individuals who cooperate in the commission of the crime without actually performing the unlawful act. They may provide assistance, encouragement, or support to the principal offender before, during, or after the commission of the offense. Okay, for example na lang po, meron po may mga magnanakaw po no na pumasok sa isang bangko, no? May mga yung pong mga magnanakaw na yon would be considered as the principal offender kasi po sila yung gumawa mismo nung pagnaloob or pagnanakaw sa isang bangko. Then meron pong yung mga pwede po natin i-considered as indirect participation, no? Yung mga or co-principal po na tinatawag is yung mga lookout na tinatawag natin. Yung mga lookout na kung saan sila po yung magsasabi kung nandiyan na ba yung mga pulis, kung ano yung mga galaw sa labas o yung mga nagdidirect or nagsasabi dun sa mga magnanakaw sa loob kung ano yung ginagawa sa labas. Pwede po sila ma-considered as the co-principal. Or po for example, another thing po or another example po dito is yung sa Marawi Siege, no? Ang principal offender po natin doon is yung mga leaders ng Maute Group, no? Then yung mga may mga kasamahan din po sila na pwede natin ma-consider as the co-principal because sila po yung mga that time, no? Sila po yung mga nag-survey o yung mga nag-scout dun sa paligid ng Marawi para masuportahan or maplano mismo yung Marawi Siege. Okay, yung pagbawi sa Marawi. Then accomplice naman po, meron naman po tayong accomplice dito. An accomplice is a person who with intent to gain or assist in the commission of a crime cooperates or assists in its execution by previous or simultaneous act. They act as accessories by cooperating in the execution of the offense by previous or simultaneous act. Then as accessories naman po, accessories are individuals who after the commission of the crime cooperate or assist the principal offender by profiting or benefiting from the effects of the crime. They may harbor, conceal, or assist the principal offender to evade arrest, trial, or punishment. For example po, may pinatay po silang isang tao. Okay, for example, may pinatay po silang isang mayor. Okay, no? Example lang po ito, no? May assassinate po silang isang mayor. Then, for example po, no, yung isang vice mayor pala, no? Siya pala yung kasabwat ng mga nag-assassinate sa mayor. Then, siya yung magiging mayor niyan kasi na-eliminate po si mayor. Then, yung vice mayor po, siya po yung uupo na mayor. Pwede po natin siya ma-considered as an accessory kasi po, based on its definition, after the commission of the crime, cooperate or assist the principal offender, no? In profiting or benefiting from the effects of the crime. Okay po? The next, the penalties under the revised penal code. Ito po yung mga usually na makikita nyo na penalties na under the revised penal code. The first one is yung reclusion perpetua na tinatawag. Ito, familiar po tayo dito sa reclusion perpetua. Lagi po natin naririnig sa balita or nababasa sa mga news articles, no? This penalty entails imprisonment for a minimum. Pinakamababa po is 20 years and 1 day to a maximum of 40. Okay po, no? From the minimum of 20 years and 1 day to a maximum of 40 years. It is the most severe penalty under principal law short of death. By the way po, dito sa reclusion perpetua may mga pinapatawan po ng for example, 60 years of imprisonment, no? Depende po dun sa severity ng case or yung severity ng ginawa nilang kasalanan. Okay, then for the reclusion temporal. What is this reclusion temporal? This penalty involves imprisonment for a minimum of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Okay po, pinakamataas po dito is yung reclusion perpetua, then sumusunod po si reclusion temporal from 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Then prison mayor, okay, the imprisonment for a minimum of 6 years and 1 day to a maximum of 12 years. Yung po yung tawag no, kapag ka may mga nakilala kayong nakulong no, from minimum of 6 years and 1 day to a maximum of 12 years, yung principal penalties po niya is yung tinatawag nating prison mayor. Then accessory penalties. For the accessories penalty naman po, no? Yung kanina is yung principal penalties para dun sa mga principal offender. Then for the accessory penalties, perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification. Ano naman po ito? Perpetual absolute disqualifications involves the loss of civil and political rights for life, while temporary absolute disqualification is for a specified period. These penalties can include the loss of right to vote, hold public office, and engage in certain profession. So okay po, no? Share ko lang din po yung napanood ko dun sa bitag na habang nanonood po ako sa bitag kahapon, no? Yung may isang pulis po, no? I think sa may bandang Batangas po yata yung pulis na yun, no? Kinasuhan po siya nito, no? Or kinasuhan po siya ng perpetual or temporary absolute of disqualification. Bakit po siya kinasuhan? Kinasuhan po kasi siya kasi hinigipit niya po yung mga nangingisda, no? Ginigipit niya yung mga nangingisda dun sa bitag. Then, under the surveillance, no? Kumagat po siya dun sa mga mark money, no? Yung parang suhol para makapaglayag po yung mga mangingisda natin. Then, nahuli po siya. Then, ang kanyang naging kaso is ito nga po, no? Perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification. Ano po yung mga magiging consequence ng kaso niya? Doon sa napanood ko po, no? Pwede po nawalan po siya or pwede po siyang mawalan ng karapatan na mag-hold ng public office or hindi na po siya makakabalik sa serbisyo. Matatanggal po siya, no? Mawawalan po siya ng pension, no? Mawawalan siya ng pension and madidismiss po siya bilang isang police. Then, ang fine, okay po, ito yung mga usually fine, no? Yung mga babayaran po natin or piyansa in Tagalog. Monetary penalty imposed on the offender payable to the government. The amount of the fine varies depending on the severity of the offense and the financial capacity of the offender. Okay? Accessory penalties and additional penalties imposed along with the principal penalty. They are designed to further punish the offender or to prevent them from committing similar offenses in the future. Then for the mitigating and aggravating circumstances, okay po, no? For the mitigating circumstances, voluntary surrender. Okay? Under the voluntary surrender, the accused having knowledge of a warrant for their arrest voluntarily submits themselves to the authorities. May mga gumagawa po nito. No? For example, yung mga wanted. Then gusto na nilang maayos yung buhay nila or gusto na nilang magipayapa. Sila mismo po yung voluntary nagsusurrender. Another example po dito is yung mga kasapi po ng New People's Army. No? May mga voluntary na sumusurrender po sa gobyerno. Okay, no? That's an example of a voluntary surrender. Then the minority. Under the minority, the accused is under 18 years of age at the time of the commission of the crime. This is also known as the youthful age or minority as a mitigating circumstances. Usually po kapag under 18 po sila, no? For example, yung bata nakagawa siya ng krimen. Okay, no? Nakapatay siya ng tao, then under 18 po. Usually po, hindi po siya kinukulong. Ang nangyayari po is dinadala siya sa DSWD. Then kapag umabot na siya ng 18, no, doon pa lang po siya pwedeng makulong. Nag-start yung trial, kumbaga hinihintay lang po na mag-18 siya para makulong siya. Then passion or obfuscation. The crime is committed due to sudden passion or obfuscation arising from unlawful or lawful provocations. Then treachery or yung tinatawag po nating alevosya. Ano naman po yung treachery na to? The offender employs means, methods, or forms in the execution of the crime that directly ensures its execution without risk to the offender from any defense that the offended party might make. The next is yung abuse of superior strength. The offender commits a crime when the offender takes advantage of their superior strength or power over to the victim. For example po dito, no, another example po dito sa abuse of superior strength is yung mga nasa matataas na posisyon. For example po, CEO, then meron siyang secretary. Then yung secretary niya is, ang ginagawa po niya is, for example, no, we can consider po na ginagawa niya is meron siyang ginagawa sexually dun sa secretary niya, no? Yun po yung isa sa mga example of abuse of superior strength. Then next po is yung evident premeditation. Okay, evident premeditation is the crime. Okay, the crime is committed with premeditation or with a deliberate intent or commit the deliberate intent to commit the offense. Okay, no? Then for the prescription of crimes and penalties, okay, no? For the crimes punishable by reclusion perpetua or the death penalty, no? Ang prescription period po niya is 20 years. Okay, ano pong ibig sabihin nun? This means that the criminal actions for offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua or by death penalty must be filed within 20 years from the time the crime was committed. Then kapag ano mangyayari po kapag hindi na file siya within the 20 years na sinasabi dito, if the prosecution fails to file charges within this period, the offender may no longer be held criminally liable. Kapag lumagpas po siya dun sa prescription period of 20 years, no, hindi na po siya mako-considered as criminally liable. Then next, crimes punishable by imprisonment exceeding 12 but not more than 20 years o yung tinatawag po natin reclusion temporal. Ano naman po yung prescription ni reclusion temporal, no? Ang prescription naman po ni reclusion temporal is 15 years. Offenses that carry penalties of imprisonment exceeding 12 years but not more than 20 years must be prosecuted within 15 years from the commission of the crime. So meron po kayo 15 years of allotted time para magsampa ng kaso, no? Para mapatunayan po na yung akusado is guilty siya dun sa crime. Okay po? So that's all for my lessons under the revised penal code. Okay po. Thank you and God bless.